Our next inductee is going in with Joan. Certainly a familiar name, Flutie. Doug Flutie, class of 1981. If you don't already know, Doug is a three-sport athlete in Natick: football, basketball, and baseball. He was MVP for 2 years, Bay State League All-Star for 2 years in all three sports, Boston Globe All-Scholastic for 2 years, and the Boston Herald All-Scholastic for 2 years. Certainly a remarkable career in Natick. But what's really most amazing about Doug Flutie is not what he did in Natick or what he did after Natick in terms of schools. What's really amazing about Doug Flutie is, as I mentioned before, there are some great people who have come from the town of Natick, and Doug Flutie is certainly one of them. Doug and Lori Flutie have done more to raise more money to help more families, not only in the state of Massachusetts and New England, but also in the country. They have done more to help families who have experienced autism in their children, to help educate people who don't know about autism, and to generally help the world. So I am so honored to be able, it's about athletes tonight and athletics, but to first, a big shout out to Lori Flutie, and to introduce Doug Flutie from the class of 1981.
Doug Flutie, from the class of 1981, was a three-sport athlete at Natick High School, playing football, basketball, and baseball. In football, he was a 3-year varsity player, serving as captain his senior year. In his first varsity football game as a sophomore, Doug Flutie scored a 60-yard touchdown while playing safety after stealing the ball from the Winchester High School fullback. As a sophomore, he also kicked the last-second game-winning 38-yard field goal at Braintree. In his junior and senior seasons, he was voted team MVP as well as Bay State League All-Star. He had 23 career interceptions and was voted Boston Globe All-Scholastic and Boston Herald All-Scholastic 3 years in a row. In basketball, Doug Flutie also served as captain and was voted a Bay State League All-Star in 1979 and 1980. In 1980, he scored 36 points against Walpole. In baseball, Doug Flutie was voted a Bay State League All-Star in the 1979 and 1980 seasons, and in his senior year pitched 2 one-hit shutouts. 2012 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, from the class of 1981, Doug Flutie.
Joan, can I get a picture with you after? All right. Awesome. And Sarah, my memories of my sophomore year playing were my favorite as well, because my older brother Bill was a senior that year, and it made it very special to me. And Bill, I was on that 1980 team that lost to you up in Cooperstown. In fact, I made the last out of the game by popping up. John Carroll probably was not too happy with me that day. But it has just been, it was a great move. We moved up from Florida in '76, and the family, we were headed to Marblehead, and it was getting late that night, so we stopped in Natick for the night. We were going to go in the morning and had finished the ride up to Marblehead, and as we came into town, we saw Home of Champions. Figured this is a pretty good place to stop, and we'll just stay right here and find a place to play. Of course, my dad, that's all it was about. It wasn't about his job. It was about where the kid's going to play. And that's the way my father always was with us. And, you know, there have been 15 Fluties now that have gone through Natick High School. There have been 4 Super Bowl championships. 3 of them had a Flutie on the team. I was none of them. It's been such a fun ride going through Natick. And it started, and Lisa DePaula was just reminding me. And, oh, I'm sorry, Vi. Thank you, Vi Tatuni, for my entire life. Anything good that happened to me in my life was because of Vi. We all know that. We acknowledge it every time we speak. She happened to be next to Miss Pettipitt back in Coolidge days. And Miss Pettipitt scared the living daylights out of me. I'm sorry. Thank God you were there next to her. She would comfort, and Miss Pettipitt would scold. So, back in the Coolidge days, when we first got here, I started playing football down at Coolidge Junior High, and Kirk Bushenfeld was the head coach. And he saw something in me that, I'm going to go back one step further. was the Pop Warner days when we first moved up. My father, Jim Arger, Dave Lamont, and a few others, my dad wanted a place for his kids to play, and we didn't have a football program. They all started that Pop Warner program that year. In fact, I got the 1 year in before going to Coolidge and starting to play, but my brother Darren, when he was younger, he had to go over to Wellesley to play. We still hate him for it. But it was those guys that initiated it, started the program. Kirk saw something in me that maybe I didn't even know was there. Kind of gave a heads up to the coaches up at the high school that, hey, when this kid comes up as a sophomore, give him a good look early, and kind of paved the way a little bit. I got up there, and Tom Lamb, I can't say enough about Tom. I could stand up here all night and talk about Tom Lamb, what a great man he is, what he has done for this town. It was pretty special, I got an opportunity to play early as a sophomore. Like I said, my sophomore year was very special to me because my older brother Bill was the returning starting quarterback, and I had a chance to play on the same team as Bill. We were struggling offense, and I went in at quarterback, but what we did was put Bill at wide receiver and me at quarterback and started throwing a football. And the two of us never left the field. He punted, I kicked. We returned punts and kickoffs. We both played on offense. We both played on defense, and it was a blast. But this brilliant move that Tom Lamb made, we're going to put the sophomore kid at quarterback. First game, playing at Milton, 4 interceptions in the first half I threw. Tom scratched his head second. We threw 4 touchdown passes in the second half. The rest was history. We started making plays and having fun. But, back at Coolidge, Kirk put the pressure on me to learn the offense. He had these cards made up, made me memorize the plays so I could call my own plays. With Tom, at the high school level, he did the same thing. All of a sudden, we got it. When we went in no huddle situations, I was calling my own plays. And they saw, we went to Norwood, and I called every play at the line of scrimmage. And that was all part of my maturation process that turned into what happened years later, was the fact that they saw something in me maybe I didn't know was there, and I started really pushing myself mentally, and that was the one aspect that I thought set me apart, was that the mental aspect of the game and playing football. And we went through those years. We didn't win championships. We had a heck of a lot of fun, threw the football around, and I loved playing football. For basketball, I played for Charlie Christie. Charlie Christie, nicest man I've ever been around, great coach. We had so much fun playing basketball. I thought he was going to shoot me, though. Again, this is the kid that thinks he can outsmart anybody, right? This is this cocky little kid that 1 second left, Framingham South hit the shot at the buzzer to basically beat us, and we had to go the length of the court down by 1. We call timeout. I go over, I grab the darn clipboard out of Charlie's hands, and I draw up an out-of-bounds play that I saw Maryland run Wednesday night before to try to draw up a offensive or a foul on them. Sure enough, we set a pick, ran the screen. We got the foul, didn't get the foul call. We're still chasing those refs out of the gym, Charlie. Baseball-wise, John Carroll, just a legend. I mean, John Carroll, you knew he was mad at you when the finger came out and the head turned, and he didn't really look at you. That finger was flying when Stephen Marciano, this is a few years, it might have been the Fortes years of baseball, playing down in Brockton. Stephen Marciano was the Brockton catcher. John Carroll didn't like a ball strike call, didn't like the call, walked out there to argue with the umpire. Stephen Marciano turns around. We're trying to play baseball here, old man. Sit down, will you? John Carroll got that finger going. And, it was, we played for some legends, some people that cared about the town, that cared about people. The kids in the community came first. Our athletic fields now are second to none. They were as the years have gone by, because of people like Jim Arger that have put the time and effort in, and everyone that raises money for the programs. It's just been phenomenal. My high school years, and I said it to the hockey players that are here. A lot of my classmates are here. Richie Costello going in as a hockey player. He was really a football player. They made him play hockey, but he was a football player. Brian Till, Bo Murphy, Dino, all you guys. Some of the most enjoyable nights were watching those guys play hockey, going to the state tournament and the runs they would make, and just watching Richie take it from behind our own net and just go end to end, weaving in and out and sticking the thing in the net, taking 5-minute shifts, never coming off. Guys hated you for that, Dickie. They wanted their playing time until the game was on the line, and then it was like, we take the puck and go, just stick it in the net. You know, it was such an enjoyable experience, and before every home game, the team would go to Bickford's for breakfast and come back. And one thing I knew for sure was I had the best decorated locker of all the guys on the team because my girlfriend was a cheerleader. And she's still my favorite, and my #1 fan. Laurie and I have been together since sophomore year of high school. And it has been just an amazing. You talk about girlfriends following you through New England to your games and having to travel and all that. I made her go to Canada. I made her go to Vancouver. We were in Chicago. We were in Calgary, Alberta, people. We played a playoff game, -44, -85 wind chill. You don't play football, people. And that was back when Dougie was talking. Mom, I called Mom. I'm cold. Yeah. So, you know, we've been through a lot together. She's been there since day one. 33 years she's put up with me. And Natick is just a big part of our lives. Thank you all.